What's going on, GameLeapers? This is Eggs. In today's video, we're going to be going through the listed changes made for 13.12 on Twitter that the Riot devs have released. Get ready for this one, guys. There are so many champions and so many items getting changed next patch. We will know what the changes are tomorrow, and we will do a video based on that, so make sure you hit the subscribe button down below so you don't miss out on what those details are. They could heavily decide what rank you're going to be. That's big cap, by the way. They're not going to do anything, bro. Like, you're still going to be gold, you're still going to be diamond. Put your rank in the comment section right now, what it is, and then at the end of 13.12, we'll see what your rank actually is. Guess what? It's going to be the same. But anyway, this is still interesting info to go through, and it might dictate the meta in higher relos. But like I said, guys, if you really want to improve at this game, if you actually want to improve as a player, because items don't dictate you, they don't change how you play, they just enhance how you play. If you're playing a better champion using OP items, then make sure you check out the GameLeap website, link down below, description, comment section. We are uploading daily videos to our website, our challenger players and coaches from across the world that help thousands of players enhance their game on the Rift. So if you actually want to make something of this game, like reach your peak, that's all you have to do. Get exclusive access to our library content by signing up, and let's get into the changes. So first of all, we will start with the champion buffs, and there are 3 AD carries here, guys, getting buffed in 13.12. The first of these being Ashe. So Ashe is getting buffed not only for AD carry, but also for support. She's taken a really big hit ever since Riot nerfed her a few patches ago in the support role. So Ashe getting buffed as a support, I think it's okay. It's a pretty obnoxious champion. Like, she was picked in ban not so long ago in pro play, but hopefully this brings her back a little bit. As far as AD carry Ashe goes as well, she's just really not the strongest AD carry, so I don't really see like how buffs are going to hurt the game at all, so this should be welcome, to be honest. Now, the next AD carry getting buffed, this is Kai'Sa. So for Kai'Sa at the moment, she's not like amazing. You know, if you compare her to the strongest AD carries like Lucian, Draven, Kog'Maw, Zai, still pretty good, right? So Kai'Sa getting buffed as well, I don't really see an issue with it. And Riot have actually specified here that they're targeting her evolution breakpoints, so maybe reducing the amount of attack damage, attack speed, or even ability power you need to evolve your Q, W, and E at various stages of the game. Now, the last AD carry getting buffed in 13.12 is Sivir. You have to be a little bit careful with buffing Sivir because in pro play, she is, well, or can sometimes be a prolific pick, right? Because of her amazing team fighting, because of her ultimate, but also because of her spell shield. She cucks a lot of champions and her amazing wave clear. She's really a versatile AD carry. It's just that, yeah, in terms of mobility, she doesn't have the best mobility in the game, of course, but there is enough, especially if you're a skilled AD carry player. So Sivir getting buffed, we'll have to wait until tomorrow to see what these actually are, but they could be red hot. Now, moving into the mid lane, guys, we have 3 champions in the mid lane getting buffed, and all of these are control mages. So first of all, we have Orianna getting buffed. Now, Orianna in solo queue is a difficult pick to make work, right? Because it's pretty much all skill shots, and your ultimate is very easy and almost telegraphed in a way. It's not like an insta shockwave. You have like half a second to a second to react to it. And if a champion has mobility or flash, you know, it's kind of like a wasted cooldown. If you compare this to something like a Syndra ultimate maybe, or maybe like a Victor ultimate, those are just more reliable. And we can talk about Ahri's ultimate, Annie's ultimate. These are just more reliable to hit, right? So Orianna will have to see what the changes actually are to her, but I'm actually glad these control mages are getting buffed because they really haven't done anything. Even with Lost Chapter going down in gold, you're still spending that much gold to get to Luden's Tempest, and even though it might accelerate your scaling, you're still the same champion for the most part, yeah? And none of these are innately broken. So Orianna getting buffed, I'm all for it, and that's with Ryze as well. I don't really think Ryze is innately broken. Yes, he was very powerful at the start of the season, right? He's like picked and banned, but at the moment there are mid laners like Ahri, there's Annie, there's even Cassante we're seeing in the mid lane, right, who are just picked all the time. Ryze because of the nerfs, and the nerfs like Catalyst, right, going up to 1300 gold. He hasn't really been performing that well, so I'm all for these buffs too, as long as they're not too big, because yeah, he will be picked and banned again. Now, the last control mage talk about, guys, this is Victor, who is getting some buffs. And Victor, I think you have to be a little bit careful buffing because I think this champion's really good. Like, I think he's one of the few blind pickable mid laners. Maybe you have to ban Cassinon or something. But for the most part, he's very versatile. So I think the champion is a great champion to pick in the mid lane, and for him to get buffed, we'll have to keep our eyes on this one. Now, the last 2 champions getting buffed here, guys, we've got 2 top laners. The first of these is Gangplank, and there is no doubt that lots of people, well, they're just nervous about this, right? Because GP is one of those top lane champions. Well, he's just one of those cringe champs you don't like seeing picked on the enemy team, especially if you're playing a melee champion, right? So GP getting buffed, a little bit scary. I don't know what they're going to buff as well, because he's become easier to play against. His win rates as well aren't that great, so he's probably still as annoying as he was in lane. But in terms of other top lane champions, you know, you've got like Stridebreaker getting buffed, right? You've got Trinity Force becoming more prolific in the top lane as well, and on certain champions it is very scary to play against, even if you are a GP. So GP here getting buffed, I actually do agree with it, but again, it's kind of like Ryze. As long as they don't overtune the champion champion. Now, the last champion getting buffed here, guys, another top laner. This is Susan. So if you're playing Nasus in the top lane, yeah, Nasus is getting buffed. This is like the most one-dimensional champion on the rifts, and you should really not be blind picking him. You should be counter picking this guy. So maybe against like attack speed champions, so you can W, or if you've got a free lane, right, you can just press Q and stack until affinity. And yeah, Nasus getting buffed seems okay to me. What do you guys think about the champions getting buffed for 13-12? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think there should be other champions on here? Let us know in the comment section. Now, moving down to champion nerfs. We'll start again with those AD carries. So we have 2 AD carries getting nerfed. The first of these is Kog'Maw. So even though Riot nerfed Runar's Hurricane and they took some of the magic damage out of Kraken Slayer, even though it's still in there, Kog'Maw's win rate did drop a little bit. But the champion is still really good, right? Because they buffed him not so long ago, and with Ginsu's Rage Blade, that's what's making Kog'Maw really powerful. And honestly, like, the stats back this up. Kog'Maw's a really strong pick at the moment, so him getting nerfed, maybe, as long as it's not too much, because he's not like the most OP AD carry like he was in 13-10. Now, the last AD carry getting nerfed, guys, and honestly, I completely agree with this. Like, this champion is so busted, but is it because of the champion, or is it because of Trinity Force? So if you guys are playing Zeri as an AD carry, I kind of like feel for you, because Trinity Force got buffed so much, right, with extra attack damage and attack speed, and the 3-fold strike passive lasting an extra 2 seconds now. Like, it's just unreal for a stacking champion like Zeri, and that's one of the reasons why she's picked in over 15,000 matches in Challenger. Like in 13-11, she's the most popular AD carry and the most OP according to the win rates and all that stuff banned as well, right? And this also goes with a couple of supports who are really good with her, maybe even 3 supports, these being Lulu, Milio, and Yuumi. All 3 of these are getting nerfed because that's all we're seeing in pro play. It is a Felios and Zeri picked with Yuumi, picked with Lulu, or Milio maybe. It's kind of doing my head in, so hopefully these nerfs will bring a bit of variety into the bot lane again. And again, I kind of feel for you Zeri mains out there, because Trinity Force is probably what's making you really OP. Zeri mains, let me know in the comment section what you think. And while we're in the bot lane, I might as well mention the last support here, guys, this being Rel. But support and jungle Rel, they're both getting nerfed. So they kind of overtuned her a little bit in 13-11 because of all the buffs that came in. And it's kind of funny, like Rel's being good for one patch and then they just like insta-nerf her, whereas other supports are like good for so many patches and they don't touch her at all. So I really feel for you Rel players. I'm more than happy seeing this champion because it is a bit more skill expressive than other supports, but she is on the nerf list, and that's probably because of the stats she has at the moment. They are looking pretty good. Now, moving into the jungle here, we only have 1 champion getting nerfed, and I'm surprised like other champions aren't getting nerfed as well here in the jungle. You know, stuff like Nidalee, Rengar, there might be some others, of course, but Kha'Zix is the only jungler here getting nerfed. And yeah, for Kha'Zix, I kind of expected this because he's picked so much, right, and banned so much, and is still being S+2 champion. It does make sense in my head, but I don't think he's like as OP as he was, and I think he could even go a patch here without getting nerfed. I think a champion like maybe Nidalee or like I said, Rengar should be hit more than Kha'Zix is, but hey, I'm not really complaining about this, so yeah, Kha'Zix is the only jungler getting nerfed. Now, the last 2 champions here, guys, getting nerfed in 13-12. These are both top lane as well. You can play them both in the mid lane as well. These being a champion I've already mentioned, K'Sante, and then we have Gragas. So for K'Sante, it's just like the pro play thing, right? This guy's picked all the time, and like Korean, Chinese, high elo, he's picked all the time as well, right? He's an amazing blind pick champion. He's awesome into mages as well because they can never do enough damage to really threaten you. You also have really good gap closing potential and wave clear with your Qs. It's like playing a Yasuo kind of on steroids in the mid lane. So K'Sante is an amazing mid laner, especially if you have like AP junglers, works so well with them. So K'Sante getting nerfed 100%. This has to happen. And then we have Gragas, but specifically they're nerfing Gragas top. So what they're going to nerf about Gragas here, I'm not particularly sure. Maybe his like AD per level or something. I don't know if that's like top lane relevant, but yeah, because in mid lane you have attack damage champions as well. But we'll have to see what they're going to nerf here. Maybe like you're maxing another cooldown first. We'll have to see. Maybe it's so they enable Jax. Maybe there's like a Jax main on the balance team who wants to get out of gold 2 NA. But we'll have to see, right? Now the final 2 champions here, guys, getting adjusted. So there are 2 more. We have Lucian and we have Rumble. These champions are getting adjusted, and they have actually been published on Twitter already, but again, we will detail all of those tomorrow in our 13.12 changes video. Items that are getting buffed. We have Immortal Shield Bow, we have Moonstone Renewer, we have Fan Advancer, and then we have Static Shiv. These items are getting buffed, guys, in 13.12. And one more thing that's getting buffed here is mid lane gold. So remember how they made like ranged minions like 13 gold in the mid lane and melee's like 20 gold? It means that you're just getting less gold, right? And for mages, this is really important because you need to scale to become a champion. So maybe they're going to buff that. System nerfs. The items getting nerfed. We have Ardent Sensor, Bloodthirster, Gale Force, Imperial Mandate, Rapid Fire Cannon. The other couple of things here getting nerfed, these are Overheal, and then you have Red Buff as well. Red Buff getting nerfed, kind of interesting here. Maybe it's going to be like the slow or the actual damage. We'll have to see about this, because lots of junglers these days are just starting Red Buff right, so we will have to see what this change is. Pretty interesting. And then the final adjustment here, guys, to the Rift in 13.12 is Duskblade with your ultimate for Katarina and Samira. This is going to get bug fixed, so maybe Duskblade on these champions is no longer going to be viable. I was actually going to make a video talking about like Duskblade Samira. You guys should definitely play it, by the way, for the rest of 13.11. It's super broken and actually freeload. Guys, those were the 13.12 listed changes. Again, we will talk tomorrow about what these changes are going to be and what they're going to mean for the Rift. Thank you so much for watching the video. This has been Coach Cheek. See you in tomorrow's. Bye.